What's the best way you have seen someone screw themselves over?
A long while ago in a large computer corporation with looming layoffs. An employee set up a time bomb so that a lot of files would be destroyed if he didn't reset the trigger periodically, thus creating a delayed revenge if he got fired.
Which eventually happened, without any severance package, because the time bomb went off when he was still an employee. When I was young, I realized if I threw up at school, they'd call my mom to come get me.
One day in second grade, got sick, because I wanted to leave, but my dumbass forgot it was field trip day to the zoo. I tried to say I was feeling better, but my mom was already on her way. My friend's sister was engaged to a great guy.
His only flaw was he was too tough to wear a seatbelt. Crashed his car and died.
A few weeks later she found out she was pregnant, so now she's a single mother. So that's at least 3 lives he fucked up by not wearing his seatbelt.
I've seen friends talk themselves into tickets when dealing with police where they initially were just going to give them a friendly warning. Cops were called to a buddy's house. Cops told this buddy that they did not require any statement from him. Buddy proceeded to tell his side of the story. Buddy went to jail. Old friend from high school, Eddie, was really good at pitching and got a full-ride scholarship to play baseball at AD1 University. A week before we graduated high school, we were playing basketball in gym class.
Eddie goes for a shot, misses, gets angry, punches a wall and breaks his hand. Long story short, the D1 school took his scholarship away because his hand was fucked and he would have missed summer training.
Poor guy was devastated. 10+ years later and he still talks about how he could have been a pro player. He now operates a crane in Philly and makes really good money. I got a pal who just can't keep a job. He
goes to war with people when he feels out of his depth and can't make it past probation period. Now he's almost fucked his life in a bad way. Been out of work for almost a year and can't find anything because it's a whole history of 6-month stints.
We had an employee at another location sell company merchandise on social media on his own account for 10 times the original retail price. Company found out and fired employee. The very next day the company gave every employee company-wide a decent bump in pay. So he lost his job and the pay bump all for less than $100 reselling company merch. Truly one of the dumbest ways I've ever seen someone screw themselves over. I worked with a literal idiot for a union job where he just didn't think it was needed or morally okay. We tried to explain to him that the union helps him a lot more than he realized, but nope. In one ear, out the other. He had some incident and went into a meeting about it. He rebelled against the union rep, and she sat there and let him sign away his job. He thought he had finally freed himself from the union to work better, and they fired him hours later after he was no longer protected. Free healthcare, education expenses, guaranteed vacay and sick time, assistance with housing, legal, guaranteed pay raises. Threw it all away because of religious political philosophy. Drugs. Guy could have had it all. Beautiful GF, promising future. Wound up dead in a dirty basement. Girlfriend ended up looking like Keith Richards and maybe dead also now. Even before death, they lived in squalor and wound up homeless. Just destruction from beginning to end. Don't fuck with opiates. They are truly the devil. Back in college, a friend of mine tried to impress everyone at a party by showing off his fire-breathing skills. He didn't realize that the bottle he grabbed was rubbing alcohol instead of the usual lighter fluid. When he took a big swig and tried to spit it out into the flame, it caught fire way too close to his face. He ended up with singed eyebrows and a trip to the ER. The next day, he found out the whole thing was caught on video and had gone viral on our campus. It was a painful lesson in thinking twice before showing off. Had this lab partner in college that was pre-med. While rushing for a frat, he wasn't allowed to sleep for a month, among other ridiculous things. He basically slept through all of his classes and ended up having to switch majors to something less academically demanding in order to survive rushing for his frat. Recently, a 20-year employee lost his management job because he couldn't keep it in his pants. There was a blow-up at work with him and a pregnant young lady, his second with that young lady. Funny thing, it wasn't the only woman he'd had relations and children with at work, and not the second, either. Pregnant young lady went to HR and he was gone before lunch. When my wife was married to her first husband, her second childbirth ended badly, with both her and her baby needing to be resuscitated. Daughter has lifelong medical issues and both ended up with financial compensation. Husband became distant and ended up breaking up two households. Wife sued for divorce, and he dragged it out, aiming to get some of her settlement. Enough time elapsed that she became fully vested in his retirement plan. And he got none of the settlement. Meth. And it was me. 8.5 years clean now.